Good morning, gardening friends. Today is Sunday, November 16th. Just a couple more Sundays until Thanksgiving. I hope you all are preparing. And here I am out in the Garconniere. A lot happened out here this week. It's not finished yet, but a lot of reorganization occurred. For one, my curtains came from Amazon. I've always wanted to do a patio panel on these doors. Typically, if I have friends that's come to stay, what I'll do is I'll give up my bedroom and then I'll come out here. That way they have the full range of the house and I can sleep out here and go in when I need to use the bathroom or whatever. So it has been many years coming to this point. I think it's been I know it's over 10, but it is so nice to be sitting here. It's not done yet. I have some oriental rugs that I'm getting cleaned. I have two small oriental, actually one has always been here and I bought a second one. And they needed cleaning. And that leads me to the next Amazon purchase. I got these little inside doormats. I bought one of them and I liked it so much I bought two more. They really go nicely with oriental rugs, but they're machine washable. And they kind of looked like an older oriental rug. So, I mean, it's not a real oriental rug, but it serves its purpose. You have welcome mats outside. I like those choir mats, I think they're called. But they'll get off the big stuff like mud and stones and things, but usually the bottoms of your feet are still wet and can carry muddy water. So hence the interior carpet from now on. I didn't know they had such nice ones at Amazon. I think it was like $18. The other thing I did was I put up less pictures in here. Those of you that remember what this room used to look like, it had a lot of cracked ceilings and stuff. I have not yet worked over the cupboards. They're still dusty. You can't see it from here, but I can. And in any event, I put up just a few of the things, the pictures. I think I told you already, but I'll tell you again. The main reason I had so many things hanging in there was to take your mind away from the cracks that were in the walls and in the paneling, or ceiling. I did buy this new throw. I kind of like the idea. I consider this room kind of painfully monotone now. However, I like it. It's a very soothing room. And I will probably sit out here. I need to get a chair. I lost one chair here that was rickety. I got rid of, this room was used for storage for the last 10 years. So I got rid of a rickety chair I had. And I'm not certain with this. I know I'm going to put plants on it, but one of these two is going to be opened up for a little desk out here. And maybe I'll do my crossword puzzles or something interesting out here. The other thing I looked at was getting a little TV. And I tried with an old TV that I had with a Roku stick, but it's too far away from my Wi-Fi to pick up. So I got to thinking, rather than buying another one, I gave that one to a friend, I might buy a little laptop, because laptops, I can bring my laptop out here and it is fine picking up the internet. So I may just buy me an inexpensive laptop and watch TV on it out here while I'm doing laundry. I don't think I actually showed you the actual little laundry closet. Now that the laundry washer dryer has been tucked in the closet nicely, and on this little side you can just get a glimpse of that picture that I had showed you once before. And there's the little table that I bought from Walmart just to hold a few jugs of cleaning fluids. I decided when I looked at getting nicer containers for my soaps that really all they were was unlabeled plastic containers. So what I did is I took the labels off of the ones I had. Why spend $30 for unlabeled fancy clear containers when I can just as easily take the labels off of things and put them right there? I know what they are. So yes, it's a pleasure doing laundry. And you'll notice the tassels are out. Of course, this closet is the disaster closet. This is the one that has all the stuff that I have to go through yet, and this room still needs painting. It's a little walk-in closet, and it is a mess, but that's where everything was from this room was all tucked in that closet. So we'll get to it eventually, but probably not till next year. But yes, this room is looking fine now. I really enjoy it. Of course, it was hard work getting the stuff here. I put the curtain rod up. I got that from Amazon as well. I have to admit, that curtain, I was very pleased with because I had a patio panel in another home many years ago, and it was such a pain in the butt. I remember to iron all the creases out. Well, I bought a steamer, a little handheld steamer, and after I hung these curtains, of course, I spread them out, and I swear it only took about 15-20 minutes to steam all of the wrinkles out of it. So, of course, as the sun is hitting it right now, I see one that I missed, but we'll get it another day. So yes, I really enjoy this. It's coming together nicely. And when the carpets come here, it'll make it a little warmer. I have two small carpets for the floor. That was the other thing I did this week, was play musical carpets. They actually took 3, and to get that third one, it's my hallway carpet in the house, which you'll see. But I had to find another carpet for the hallway, so I stole it from the front door, and then I had to find another one for the front door, which I stole from my bedroom. So Mimi does not have a carpet on her side of the bed anymore, but she doesn't seem to be any the worse for wear. But yeah, other than that, it's a beautiful day. We did have a frost. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. We did have a freeze. Last Monday night, it got down to 30 degrees. I did not see a frost. However, you'll see that there are various microclimates around in my backyard, and some things got hit and some things didn't. There's an example of one of the pine cone gingers that got a little too cold, yet a foot away is a perfectly happy pine cone ginger. So it's just a matter of where the cold hit. It did get my toad lilies. Of course, this is a very exposed area here. I think I found out, I did some reading, what may have killed my satsuma tree that was there. The bark basically just shattered off of the tree. Never saw anything like it before. And I've been doing some reading, and I think the problem was I over-fertilized it. I had put the recommended amount of fertilizer for citrus trees under it, but what I had forgotten is I also had a, what is that thing called? A blue hydrangea. And I put special blue hydrangea food out for it to make it bloom blue. And both of those died on me, and I've got a feeling it was because I forgot that was already under the tree that had been sprinkled with many cups of citrus fertilizer. So both probably got burned from having too much fertilizer. So be careful. Don't over-fertilize. And you may need to choose one thing, like if you have something planted underneath another tree, choose which one you're going to fertilize for and don't fertilize the other. Plumbago is in full bloom. It's looking really nice. And this plumbago was not hit. The ferns were. The aspidistra I have to go through at some point. That's not frost damage. That's just burn damage from the summer from having lost the satsuma. They don't like to be in full sun in a zone 9A. On this side, the herb bed is looking good. I am going to get some more plants this week. I'm going to get some parsley. I'm going to get some, well, I've got dill seed. I'm going to plant the dill seed. But I'm also going to see if I can get me some daffodil bulbs. I did have luck planting daffodils last year. They bloomed one year, and they did really well. I enjoyed them, and hopefully they'll come back. But if not, I did enjoy them, and it did not require any refrigeration. Tulips I swore off of in a zone 9A. You're wasting your money if you buy tulips. You have to refrigerate them to bloom, and they're not going to come back. And if you have them in a little dedicated refrigerator, well, if you have them in a refrigerator, it needs to be dedicated, because if you store any fruits in that same refrigerator, the ethylene gas that the fruits give off will kill the incipient, I think that's the right word, flowers inside of the tulip bulbs. And I made the mistake one time of putting avocados. I didn't realize avocados are a fruit in the same crisper. And so I've been doing this now for 30 years, and I think I've only been successful with tulips about maybe 10. And it's just not worth the effort, especially after you refrigerate them for 3 months, deal with them, and then have them peter out on you at the last minute. Satsuma is looking good. There's another one of the, got to get down to where I'm pointing, another one of the pinecone gingers that got zapped, but again, underneath, same plant. It's doing well. I did bring in the bougainvillea. Yes, everything that rosemary really likes its life there. That is the problem with rosemary. I've had it there before, and it does just that. It's going to get, that's why I only planted 2, because if you plant 4, it will eventually swallow up that armillary sphere. Oh, I haven't adjusted it for the right time yet. It's still reading an hour ahead. I'll have to go and twist it a little. But not right now. Here all is well. The big news this week was I got a new gutter. We can go up there now. I wasn't planning on doing it just yet, but the roof is officially done. You get a side view of my roof. But those of you that have been watching me for a while will remember I had a little roof that projected out over the top of this door, and they removed that. And they came this week and installed the gutter. I have one gutter now over my deck. There's the downspout. The only thing left for me to do here, they actually sent painters to do it, is underneath there's one sheet or one piece of plywood that they didn't paint. But it's a little rough, and I want to sand it first before it gets painted, so it won't take me long to do. A lot of that roughness up there is due to ripping out the old phone line. I got rid of my landline, and the cord used to run up there, or the wire. Here on the deck, of course, all of these I brought in. That I brought in, and it was a pleasure bringing the nepenthes in because I cut all of the long growth off. And by the way, we'll have to take a look in the front porch. Remind me when we get there to see if the nepenthes that's in the little jar has rooted. There is Peanut sneaking his way around. Peanut is taming down. He likes to be petted. Only I've learned with his sisters that if I take him to the vet, everything we do has to be done in one day. So I think with male cats, it's a little bit easier to get them neutered. So he'll be neutered and given his shots all in the same day, because I'll never get him in that container again. Here you can see this ginger I left out, the queen ginger, and the cold did get to it. But I'm going to plant that out in the yard. One of y'all had said that they can be planted here, so I will do that and try it. I brought that in. Here you can see it definitely, the cold got to my angel's trumpet. However, I don't know if you can see from here, all along the trunk, there are still sprouts. So it really just got the leaves, the outer leaves. And I was shocked that actually these little pitiful flowers gave off a little bit of scent last night when I was sitting out on the deck. We had to make a special jog around the bottom of the downspout to have it go off of the deck. But it is a pleasure now to sit in this chair, which is usually my chair, and not have dew drip down off of the roof as it's dripping down here off of the umbrella. I do have my fountains on. I did wind up having to get a new fountain for that pot. The old one I used to empty the pot with, and I guess burned it out by letting it go dry. This one has a safety feature where it'll shut itself off before it goes dry. The flower on this Sarracenia is pretty much gone now. That central area was covered with little petals. These little things that have fallen. But I actually sat here one day and watched a bee. It actually disappeared up inside of there. There were petals that covered those little holes. It was a bumblebee, a little solitary bumblebee would disappear inside the flower. It went in it about 3 or 4 times. So there must have been something good in there. My, what do you call it? Desert rose is looking pitiful, but it always does this time of year. That is going to live in the garage for the winter. I just haven't figured, I haven't put any plants out, I'm sorry, not in the garage, the Garconniere. I haven't put any plants there yet because I'm not certain exactly where I'm going to keep that ponytail palm. It's going to stay out there, but I don't want it where I'm going to be brushing against it constantly. So I have to find a permanent spot for it, for the winter at least, but I haven't found it yet. I did bring this one in. This is one of my harder to find plants. I won't say rare. Hopefully it'll bloom. When they did my roof, they knocked one of the flower buds off, but it should still bloom. That's the golden chalice vine. And that pentas I left out, and it was fine. Same with that geranium. Left it out, it was fine. Everything has done really well here, except for the angel's trumpets, and it turned the crepe myrtles a nice orangey color. Bananas, oh, I didn't talk about the bananas. You see here the bananas got hit. I think the stalks are still good, and you'll probably see some more green leaves come out of that. So we shall see. Like this one over here especially, you can see the leaf that had not yet come out. It's browned at the top but green at the middle, so, or green at the bottom, so they'll probably push out some new green growth before a real killer frost or a hard freeze comes. Gotta be careful going down here. I've got new bedroom slippers. I had 3 pair, but I only ever wore 1. And from doing the painting and stuff out in the Garconniere, they just got a little too grungy to bother keeping. There's Peanut again. I don't leave these fountains on all the time, so they're intrigued. He actually sticks his paw in the water, wondering what's going on. I need to water. I see that fountain is rather low. That has a little pump in it, same kind that's in the bigger pot. It'll shut itself off when it's necessary. Frost didn't reach the ground, so my ground palm is doing still well. Otherwise it would be brown. And something in here, more than likely a cat, I see tipped over my bird bath. I'll get it later. I probably have to water later today. I did not take this coleus in, and it was not affected by the cold, nor was that angel's trumpet. So this little microclimate underneath the protection of the loquat fared really well. I did not bring this in either. I did bring in my orchids, and they will probably live inside of the Garconniere for the winter. Let's say bringing in and out. This is still a beautiful Sasanqua. I don't know the name of it, but it is blooming. It blooms mostly in the sun. This, of course, is in deep shade, so you don't see a lot of flowers on this side. But they are pretty, pretty pink and huge. Oh, I hear someone is mowing the yard, so sorry about that, but it is what it is. We'll be out of the front yard shortly anyway. The Fatsia japonicas are in bloom, and the frost didn't seem to hit this one or that one. Actually, it didn't seem to hit this one either. It did hit a few of the blossoms. These are still fine. This is the actual blossom opening. They're fixing to open. And you can see if the frost hits it, they definitely turn brown. So some of them got hit, some of them didn't. I have to keep correcting myself. If the cold hits it, there you can see the bananas from a different view. That palm tree looks nice. Windmill palm. Back in here, it's going to be Thanksgiving soon, and the kumquats are ripe enough to be used. And I saw something yesterday that kind of floored me. See if it's still there today. Yep. A strawberry blossom and a green berry. So it's possible I may still have some strawberries this year. Back in here, this little microclimate, this white angel's trumpet, just a little bit of the tip got frostbit, and the rest of it is still doing well. So it's in a protected environment. The frangipani I did bring in because that will get killed by frost. I didn't get this one. I got this one at Lowe's. They used to sell them in the French Quarter in New Orleans. And they don't look anything like this, because what they used to sell them as, it looked like a cigar. It was just the leafless tip, and it was always dipped in paraffin. And they'd sell it, it was only but $1 or $2 a stalk. And you'd stick it in the ground, and it would set roots through the paraffin and grow. I had one for many years like that. The problem with them is they get so big that eventually they're, at least for me, not able to be brought inside of a warm area for the winter. So you either have to protect them every frost or else let them go. Of course, if you let them go, you can take cuttings. Usually I do that for these angel's trumpets, but I have enough, and the roots are ground hardy, and they've been proven so for the last 2 or 3 years on this spot. But you could take a cutting like this, like I would cut it right below a leaf node, pull that leaf node and that leaf off, and stick it in water, and within about 2 weeks you'll have roots. So it's an easy way. Angel's trumpets are exceedingly easy to propagate. They are, however, poisonous, so you don't want to use the jar that's used for propagation for anything else. Like if you had a canning jar, I wouldn't can in it after I've used it to propagate that. My cryptomerias are still doing well. They're newly planted. That's where I'm going to wind up putting the ginger that's on the deck. Just haven't gotten around to it yet. These angel trumpets are a little more exposed, so the tops got it. However, I can't get really close. If you take a good look, though, on the stems, you'll see little new green growth appearing. So they may have been hit, but they're not given up yet. There are a lot of new growth bits growing. Here's a better view on this one. Those little side shoots were not there a couple of weeks ago. There you can see what it's doing. Well, not a week ago. What am I saying, a couple of weeks? It was just last Monday that we had the cold. So that's how fast this stuff sends up sprouts. So it's willing to, those will be willing to take over for the tops. The fruits on this palm, the Pindo palm, I don't think are going to make it this year, but they look pretty at least. They kind of look like acorns. They've never ripened on this Pindo yet. And my Canary Island date palm is still looking very stately up there. Cold doesn't affect the palms in general unless you have a prolonged cold snap of 28 or 29 for 3 or 4 days in a row. Typically they'll survive it well. That ginger lily was unaffected. The only palm that is slightly tender is my lady palm, which is this one, and I do have to cover this. And if we have a prolonged freeze, it will, all of the leaves will be hit and it'll come back from the roots usually. But that's about it for the backyard. Yeah, take a walk in the front yard. There's some bee activity I see. They do like the wandering dudes. All these little solitary bees. That must be their favorite flower. Oh, I see. I didn't put the cushion down. The cushion was a little damp this morning, so I picked it up. I found this cushion in the jumble of stuff that I have in that closet in the Garconniere. It was a one-off that I got at the end of the season. So I thought, rather than get rid of it, it's a pretty color, I'll just leave it there and let the cats use it at night, and that's what they do. However, right now it's wet from the dew that came last night. Let's see over here. I'm looking in the ground. I don't see any growth yet, but I have a Lenten rose in there. It hasn't sprouted. So there's nothing to see. This Lenten rose is fighting with the caladium, but it is coming up. Caladiums don't take to cold. They just shrivel right up when the cold hits them. And you can see here that these coleus definitely got hit. I'm thinking I may empty those pots out and use them as umbrella or stick stands. I don't know, we'll have to see. I like the idea of having an umbrella stand inside of the Garconniere right next to the door. And here are two of the Lenten roses I planted last year. Hopefully they'll come up and bloom. See, this angel's trumpet is untouched over here, just protected enough. Oh, I have never given it honorable mention, and I pass it by all the time. Another Sasanqua. This one is called Yuletide. It is beautiful. It used to be about 20 foot tall, and I hacked it back a few years back. But it has a beautiful open, like a reddish pink color flower. Similar to the pink one, but this one has a little more fuchsia in it. And it has very dark green leaves. I'm so used to looking down, I hardly ever take a look at it, but it is worth an honorable mention. It is a pretty color. Yuletide, if you stick your nose inside of that little tuft of yellow, whatever they are, filaments or whatever they are, they actually, well, no, I guess they're stamens. It has a little bit of a scent, a peppery scent, not a sweet scent, a peppery scent. Still got some flowers on my piers japonica. Hopefully they'll bloom. It's not the first set. It had one set and they never bloomed, they just fell off. What reminded me of the camellia, the Sasanqua, was looking at this camellia as we get out to the back, from the back into the front yard. This has absolutely gorgeous flowers. They are huge. There's another one up in there. This is the most this has bloomed in probably about 5 years, due to bad pruning on my part. I must accept that. This is a japonica. This is not a Sasanqua. This is a camellia japonica. You can tell by the size of the leaves. So it's just an early bloomer. These toad lilies were a little more protected, so they're still in bloom. And the white doves, the first of the Sasanquas that bloomed, is still in bloom. The whole bush is absolutely covered now. Looks a little flat when you come at it that way because I had to prune. It was growing out a lot into the Nandina. The cold definitely got to the datura. However, I'm sure the seeds that have blown out of the shattered pods are, oh, that's what they look like. they will grow quite nicely in this spot. In fact, there's still one coming up in the pot over here. I had cut it back because it was stealing too much energy from the geranium or pelargonium, whatever you want to call it. Back here, the Australian tree fern was not affected by the cold. In fact, it's sending up a few more sprouts, partly due to the damage it had during the roof install, but it's not going to hurt the plant overall, just a few fronds. My tomato got touched. It's very quickly ripening the last of the tomatoes. I think I'll save that pot because it's a nice pot with a trellis. I don't know if you can see that from here, but it'd be nice to plant a tomato in next year. It'd be a lot cheaper than buying the tomato in the pot like I did this year. My equisetum, or horsetail, looking a little bent, like some cats were jumping over it. And here the coleus fared well. It was again protected from the cold. I've got some bulbs coming up here. Here are some, I think they're paper whites that were planted there. I don't know if they're going to bloom, but they send up their greens every year. My geraniums look a little better here because I had an ugly looking one in that spot, and it was in this spot, and I switched it out. I always have a spare. It's one of those little tips from an old gardener. If you like to have two lush looking plants at all times on your front steps, it pays to have a third one in the wings growing nicely. So if something should happen, you never know. An Amazon package may come and they may toss it on top. Well, Amazon's pretty good. A Walmart package may come and they'll toss it from 10 feet away and smash your plant. So it pays to have a spare one in the works. It did touch a little bit my lemongrass. However, the edible part of the lemongrass is the stem at the very bottom. What you do is you cut it out right near the ground, and has a very lemony scent. Well, the whole plant has a lemony scent, but that's what you cook with. And it is hardy to zone 9A. These were both planted last year, although annoyingly, why this one is taller than that one, I don't know. They're the same plant, but yet behave differently, and there's not that much difference. This one is in slightly more shade because of the crepe myrtle, when the crepe myrtle is in bloom, or in leaf. My Thai basil got knocked back by the cold, but it's still there. This is where I'm going to plant some of the herbs that I'm going to buy. This sage has seen better days. Something looks like it's eating it. Cucumber, have to admit, was a failure this year because I haven't had a single cucumber. However, I still have flowers and it still looks okay. And my leaf lettuce is still coming up in that little shade pocket. And back in the corner there is a ginger. It's ginger like you buy in a store. I actually bought a hand of ginger and broke it up and planted it in 2 spots. And it's been in that spot now for a couple of years. This is the ginger back in there. Looks like a ginger lily. But what I do is if I need some ginger, I'll reach under there and break a little piece of the root off and cook with it while leaving the other part untouched. Blackberries I'm going to bind back to the fence so there'll be a little more sun on the plants underneath for the winter. Let me see, I don't know if this is lemon balm because I had that here, or is this marjoram? Lemon balm. Definitely, I lost my marjoram then. It just got shaded out. It's probably in the front. Lavender's doing well in that pot. No, I don't see it in the front. It usually was spreading this way into the bed. I gave a chunk of this cactus away to one of the carpet cleaners this week. He was, I paid for them to come and pick my carpets up The cleaning service that I used for the last umpteen years went out of business. So I have to try a new carpet cleaner out, and they're about an hour's drive away, which isn't the end of the world, but I had a lot of stuff going on this week, so I just paid them to come out and pick them up, and they'll deliver. These bananas did pretty well. That's one of the good things about the southern exposure of my house. Faces south, and it does offer protection. I'm avoiding the trash bag on the ground. It just blew in. But there you see a good idea of the color gray of my shingles. I have such a shallow roof, it's hard to get a view of what it actually looks like with so much stuff in the front. Let's see what the bananas by the street look like. Actually, they look pretty good, considering the cold that we had. Yep, they're all still green, just a little bit of the tips got browned. Again, microclimate because of the trees above it. So if you want to try and, ooh, there's a little anole. Can you see him? See how close I can get before he runs away. Hopefully you can see him there. He's moving slow, he must be cold. The cats love to run after anoles. I love to watch them. They like to stay in my backyard and eat bugs. I actually saw them eat a moth almost bigger than they are. I don't know how they digest the leaves, but they shoved it all in their mouth. Here all is well. Here's another cryptomeria. That's the one that opened my eyes to, there aren't many evergreens that'll grow in a 9A. If you want a traditional, like a Christmas tree type evergreen. Some junipers grow, hence I've got these tall junipers by the potager. They sell Leland cypresses, or Leyland cypresses, however you want to pronounce it. They are an absolute waste of money in a zone 9A. They will grow like a rocket, but the first hurricane or windstorm that comes will knock them flat to the ground. And they cannot be put back together again with all the king's horses and all the king's men. You can stake them up for the rest of eternity. However, what I did, I had a little hedge in the backyard at one time between Sarah's property and mine, where the Satsuma is now. And I had a hedge of Leland cypress, and it was before I had my fence. And I was so proud of the fact that it grew so fast and offered so much shade and cover. And then the first windstorm that came knocked it flat to the ground. So it was just a 1 year's waste of, or 2 years waste of time, but they still sell them for foolish people to try to buy. I don't know if that fig is going to make it, any of those figs. However, you can see the fig tree was hit by the cold. But since it still has some green, it's possible that those figs may make it. Over here, we won't spend too much time because I know we're running quite over today. I'm feeling good today. Here the encore azaleas are blooming. Autumn carnation. Again, here are the bearded iris that I had got from Lowe's and potted to get them to pre-sprout, so the wandering dude wouldn't cover over them. I failed to mention this, but a couple of weeks ago, you may recall I had Louisiana iris, or I have Louisiana iris here and there, and it was growing linearly away from where I had started it. So it was like a big circle. I went ahead and dug it all up, and I planted a whole bunch here because it tends to like that spot better, and a few over there. But what I did is, since I know from wherever they are now they're going to grow linearly away, I mixed them all up. So I've got them facing every which direction. So hopefully as they grow, the spot that they leave will be taken over by one of the ones next to them. That's my hope. We shall see. But they all transplanted really well. The little chickadees, our Carolina chickadees, are loving their life right now, eating a lot of the bird seed. Those and house wren, not house wrens. Oh gosh, can't think of the name of them right now. But in any event, they're a wren. And I saw those little suckers yesterday. I was on my computer in the dining room looking out the window, and I saw my papyrus listing. And I looked, and 3 of the little guys had landed on the vertical stalk of the papyrus, and a 4th landed on it and bent it all the way to the ground. And then all 3 got off of it. But they'll hit this bird feeder about 10 at a time, and they're small enough that they can actually get inside. Finches is what they are, like little zebra finches. They actually can get inside the bird feeder and peck at the food in there. Let's see if there's anything of note in here. This is my yellow camellia. It's got a lot of buds. This one, not so much. This is one of my later blooming camellias. This is high fragrance, and it has a bunch of buds this year, which is good. It's a fragrant camellia. I don't know the name of this one. It's a double white. Lots of buds. So yeah, my camellia bed is looking good. I do need to take some trimmers to it. Nature has helped with the frost or the cold that we had. You can see some of the leaves at the top were hit. But I'm going to let the new growth grow that's up there. I'm just going to shape it ever so slightly, like that one, where all the new growth is on one side. It won't take long. It's just a matter of getting out here and doing it. This is one of my favorite camellias. It's Professor Sargent. It's a double red. But what makes it nice is it's like it has outer leaves and like a ball of leaves inside that come out from the outer leaves, and they almost have 4 sections where they fold in on themselves. So it's an interesting looking flower, a red. And this one is a pink, but it has very serrated blossoms, leaves on the blossoms. Well, I was hoping to end up in the front porch, but I just have this feeling that I may have locked the door and forgot to unlock it, and I don't have my keys. Yep, it's locked, so we have to go around the back. I do want to show you the things that I've rooted to see if the roots are taking yet. I don't know. I haven't looked. I shall speed it up so you can see the cordyline is doing well. The frost didn't hit it yet. I am going to take my bird feeder for the hummingbirds down because they're not coming anymore. The sun is shining off the Garconniere rather nicely. Now I get to use my new carpet. These welcome mats, like I say, are good for getting the majority of sand and mud off your feet. And then I have the little welcome mat in here that I shall wipe my feet on. I washed this rug rather than send it out. I used some carpet cleaner because there was a dull gray place where every time I'd walk in from outside, I'd step here first and my feet would dry and the mud would come out. Let's see, in here, not too much to talk about. I should mention, I've been telling you I've been fighting spider mites on these on this aspidistra, and I did Google them, and neem oil does work on them. But the trick with spider mites, there are a few way down on the stems, is you have to treat them for 3 or 4 weeks. Because new ones hatch and then they lay eggs and they start the cycle all over again. The neem oil doesn't touch the eggs, So any eggs that are laid will hatch within a week. So you really need to spray for spider mites for 3 or 4 weeks. It says 2 or 3, but in this case, it'll be my third week come Monday. So they can be kept under control. And they only seem to attack that particular plant, the aspidistra. Not outside, mind you, but inside. Here, I'm starting to lose some of the flowers on this orchid, but it's still doing fine. That one's going to go out in the Garconniere, just don't know how yet or where. Miss Mimi has gotten above the covers. Hi there, Miss Mimi. Are you tired today? She's cold. This carpet was one that I needed replacing, or not, well, needed washing, as well as some binding issues. I had an oriental carpet cut down many years ago and put in this spot. I'm an older person. Younger people don't know things like this, but my rugs are sometimes strategically placed. And I don't know if you can see under there, but I have a sheet of plywood, which is an access way to under my house that is sealed shut, but it is available to be opened. It's just that's a carpet runner I have to keep this lightweight rug from slipping. So in any event, you don't necessarily, like they tell you on all these do-it-yourself fix-it channels, renew your hardwood floors every 3 years or 5 years, whatever it is. This has been like this for 30 years. What originally was in that spot was a floor furnace. And I thought, you know, all of my plumbing is nearby, since here's the bathroom and the kitchen is right there. That's a perfect access point to attack any leakage I have in my plumbing pipe. So I keep it there, and no one would be any the wiser with that carpet over it. So in any event, the carpet that was there has been down for about 20 years, and it was wearing out on the binding, so I'm having it rebinded. I don't know if they call that rebound. That's a book. But they're going to sew a little edge all along the edge of it because the vacuum cleaners with the beater bar tore it up. And this is the carpet that used to be on the far side of Mimi. I had bought that originally for there. And again, here's the look at the new carpet. You can see, if you look up close, it is a poor imitation of an oriental rug. However, when you look at the alternatives, it doesn't look that bad compared to a real oriental rug. And it'll suffice to keep the dirt off of this. I haven't washed this yet, but you'll notice these white patches are a little bit muddier right here and there. So I will try that same carpet cleaner. Whenever I use carpet cleaner on an oriental rug, I always like to test first. So the kitchen was a test case. Here you can see I'm going to start today. I need to pot up some more amaryllis. That amaryllis has a bud coming on that one, not on the front one yet. And my paper whites are doing well. So these might make it for Thanksgiving, but it's time to start the next batch. And I did notice some activity. I have a mix of cactus here. I believe this one with the little pointy bits is Thanksgiving cactus. And you can see a few buds on it, but they're always the one with the little points on it. And I have a lot that are smooth, which I believe are the true Christmas cactus. So I have, through the years, this is an old pot of cactus. I've had that since I left college, and I'm 70, so it's been a long time. Well, I take that back. I repotted it once into a slightly bigger pot, but it stays in that pot. I fertilize it, so it seems to be happy. But and it has bloomed before. But through the years, sometimes pieces slough off. And one thing I have learned, if you're ever in Lowe's or a nursery and you see a chunk of any cactus, Christmas cactus or Thanksgiving cactus on the ground, ask the owner, don't just take it, ask the owner if they don't mind if you could have that piece. Normally they sweep them up and throw them out. Well, you stick them in the ground and a plant. And finally, I'll stop my yapping. Let's take a look at if any roots at all have come on these plants here. Maybe not. I don't know. We haven't looked. I don't see anything yet. However, I don't see any deaths yet of the plants, so we shall see. I don't see anything yet, but nothing has died, so that's a good sign. It's possible it may not happen, but I figured we'd take a look. And of course, there's my poinsettia that normally lives out in the garage. And that Phalaenopsis is doing well as usual. And with that, I have probably talked your ears off. But like I said, I was in a good mood today. So I thought we would do a good long walk. So I hope you all have a good week. Start preparing for Thanksgiving. And take care. Try to get out in your gardens and enjoy them. Hopefully, those of you that had a worse frost than me will still have some gardens to go out and enjoy. But gardens can look pretty in the winter, even when things are dead. It's all part of the cycle of life. Spring is going to be here before you know it. So take care for now. See you next week.